Do you have a problem with your fingers? That's fine, we all do now and then. And there are many great treats, so-called first-person shooters, for all kinds of fingers. So here's our list of the top 15 upcoming first-person shooter games of 2020 and 2021 for consoles and PC. You might want to keep it saved somewhere, as we will continue to update it with another video over time. My name is Maxi, and this is F-Game-Killer. For those of you who love and hate Valve at the same time like me, you better know that the company caused quite the stir across the games industry when it finally unveiled Half-Life Alyx. The next game in the revered first-person shooter franchise, due to release in March 2020, via Steam, Half-Life Alyx has been confirmed to be compatible with all major virtual reality headsets. In the PC space, from Valve's own Index to the Oculus Rift, from the HTC Vive to Windows mixed reality headsets. So it's gonna sort of cause a spike in the interest of all these VR devices. But anyway, with that said, Half-Life Alyx is currently 10% off for pre-order on Steam, though remember that it comes already bundled with the Valve Index headset, or Valve Index controllers if you're looking to buy those. So anyway, Alyx is Valve's own VR return to the Half-Life series. It's also the story of an impossible fight against a vicious alien race known as the Combine, set between the events of Half-Life and Half-Life 2. But trust me, you don't want to know more until you get your hands on the thing. Check it out.
All this is my fault. I never told you. I couldn't. I'm so sorry, baby.
You will not save him. Alyx Vance alone cannot prevent his fate.
Close your eyes, honey.
Sony announced during its Stage of Play presentation today that Predator Hunting Ground is coming out on April 24th, 2020. In case you're still a little unfamiliar, Hunting Ground is an asymmetrical multiplayer based on the long-running film franchise The Predator, wherein one player controls a predator and hunts the other players, who are just humans. Now, IllFonic, the developer, is making this Predator game, and they have experience with this sort of project, having made 2017's Friday the 13th game. So it's all cool, only while Friday the 13th the game had a multi-platform release, Predator Hunting Ground is a PlayStation 4 exclusive. For now. But anyway, the interesting part is the game's 4 vs 1 setup sees a group of 4 players controlling members of an elite fire team, while 1 player controls the Predator. Let's just shut up for now, a new trailer for the game is also released. Here we go.
Stick to the mission. We're moving out.
The PlayStation 4 exclusive game Boundary has been officially announced by developer Surgical Scalpels alongside a new trailer for the upcoming game. But before this announcement, it was previously known as Project Boundary. Yet this time, alongside a reveal for the official title and platform availability, a new trailer showing off the fast-paced first-person shooter gameplay, weapon animations, character design, and map design has also been released. Check it out. The upcoming competitive first-person shooter, space-based Boundary, is expected to launch sometime in early 2020. As a PlayStation 4 exclusive. Boundary is also exclusively a multiplayer that plays as a 5 vs 5 team setup, with no single-player story mode included. Check it out. Toadman Interactive announced this week that they will be releasing a prequel to Project IGI, as we're getting IGI Origins. If you must know, the game will carry on the spirit of the previous games as you dive back into an alternative Cold War. The game is currently in development for PC, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One with a 2021 release window planned. IGI Origins is also already available for wishlisting on Steam. Origins is a first-person stealth-shooter hybrid, as you can see, where players are encouraged to think their way in and shoot their way out. Wherein you get to experience a high-octane thrill ride against the backdrop of the 80s. Check it out.
Are in your hands.
Coming up, developed by an indie studio, this project, going by the name Bright Memory Infinite, is currently in early access with the first episode available on Steam and also mobile devices. The full version of the game, which will be titled as Bright Memory Infinite, of course, never mind, will launch sometime in 2020, according to the developers. Then, owners of the early access Bright Memory will receive the full game on launch at literally no extra cost, obviously. Now, Bright Memory is all about fluidity, as it makes accurate gameplay with deadly sword combos, as you can see, where players can utilize the pulse ability to juggle foes or smash through barriers, and tons of other fun things you can do in this game. Not to mention, so far the game has also received its first update since early access launch, and it adds several visual changes such as field of view options, chromatic aberration, and ultra-wide support, so make sure to keep it in mind. During Xbox's Exo19 event, the long-running PC series Crossfire was revealed to be coming exclusively to Xbox One in the form of Crossfire X. It's the one game that delivers an intense first-person shooter experience where gamers are stuck in a global conflict between two formidable private military factions, where gamers, you, will choose a side in this conflict to complete objective-based missions across a variety of modes. When Crossfire X releases in 2020, it will be free to play for all Xbox One owners, and to other platforms and PC we will have to wait and see how it goes and when. But Crossfire series, if you're unfamiliar, has amassed over 650 million registered players since its initial launch in 2007, making it literally one of the most played PC games in the world. Check it out. After the widespread success of the 2016 Doom reboot, the franchise has come back in a huge way. Not only is Doom Eternal the direct sequel out in the first quarter of next year, but the original 3 games of each being released on modern consoles this year. And Doom 64 is also a pre-order bonus for Doom Eternal as well. ID Software has done a fantastic job of creating a game that truly feels like a proper sequel and a step forward for the franchise as a whole game. Though it was kind of disappointing that Doom Eternal was delayed until 2020, if the playable demo is anything to go by, the wait is actually going to be more than worth it. Doom Eternal releases on March 20th, 2020 for PC, PlayStation 4, Stadia, and Xbox One. Some even say Nintendo Switch as well. We're gonna have to wait and see. The alternative reality Soviet-era first-person robots killing, clown-themed torture chambers and grandma's trapped game Atomic Heart is underway. And as an action RPG, Atomic Heart promises a diverse experience that demands players adjust to the situations, in addition to the options enabled by a wide selection of highly customizable weaponry that fundamentally affects the gameplay. But anyway, that's a bit of information I've decided to share this time. But lucky for whoever's watching this, I guess, Monfish released this trailer that only features the in-game cinematic capabilities of the game, which sadly still has no release date. And from what we hear, Atomic Heart is expected for sometime in 2020. It's probably coming to PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. If you do know something more you would like to share, just make sure to let me know about it in the comments if there's anything new worth mentioning. Thank you. One of the more notable titles in the zombies genre recently, continuing the theme of hacking and slashing through Nazis, is Zombie Army 4. Now, as you might have guessed, this entry is set in World War II that also has a strong 80s horror influence, in which players will have the option to play through the story alone, or maybe even team up with up to 3 friends. Similar to Sniper Elite series, it has an X-ray thing where killing is way more brutal and yet satisfying way to take down shit. And also, as you might have already guessed, the game is much easier and much more fun when you add more players to the mix. Anyway, they're releasing 4 different Zombie Army 4 versions, giving fans a choice of bonuses, extra content, DLC, and some real-world collectibles. These are Standard, Deluxe, Super Deluxe, and Collector's Edition, and they range in cost from $69 to $169.95 US. Zombie Army 4 Dead War launches on 4th of February 2020 for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC via the Epic Games Store. Earlier this June, Microsoft announced that it's planning to launch Halo Infinite alongside its next-generation console, Xbox Scarlet, during the 2020 holiday season. Described as a spiritual reboot of the first-person shooter series, which launched in 2001, the game is also in development for Xbox One and PC. Now, according to one of the architects of the developer's company, when it releases, Halo Infinite will feature the most cutting-edge AAA game engine on the planet. The bold claim comes from a Daniel Giannetti, who speaks nothing but praise about the upcoming shooter's immersive technology. Giannetti then has been in charge of complex engine changes to meet performance and memory budgets. And according to that, and more clues of course, Halo Infinite is of course designed to be the next step in the Halo series, but also aims to bring back the Halo feeling. The game's expected for sometime in Q4 2020.
I'm going to try to overwrite. Okay. If you can hear me in there, I hope you're ready. Please don't die. Please don't die.
Rainbow Six Quarantine was announced at E3 earlier this year, where it was said it will be a co-op shooter in a PvE atmosphere, in which you will be trying to fight off a disease that most likely will turn you into a zombie thing, only in its own way. But what we know is that most likely we will be seeing familiar faces in the game, such as Ella, Doc, and but one of the most asked questions is this a DLC for Rainbow Six Siege? No. Rainbow Six Siege and Rainbow Six Quarantine are two different games with two different teams. Both are coming from Ubisoft Montreal. Best case scenario, there will be some links between the two. Anyway, Rainbow Six Quarantine will be released sometime around 2020, most probably before April 2020. You can also sign up for the beta right now.
Take him! I'll cover you!
He's going into stasis!
Contact! Head to the extraction point!
Developed by the true shooter veterans in Crow Team, Serious Sam 4 Planet Badass is coming back to reignite the classic series by improving on the old school formula into something pretty dope. Well, this time around, as always, you get to enjoy the high adrenaline action combat with an unbelievably destructive arsenal and experience. But Serious Sam was always about using whatever comes towards you to target practice, and this time it's no different. So you get ready once again to fight through giant hordes of whatever you call these. But anyway, with that said, Planet Badass doesn't have a release date, but it's expected for sometime in 2020. Stay tuned. According to developers, the long-awaited System Shock 3 will be a direct sequel to System Shock 2, picking up right where the previous game left off. Apparently Shodan survived the events of the second game, so now once again we get to play the big bad in System Shock 3. You'll also get to see the return of familiar characters from the previous games. Then System Shock 3 will place a heavy emphasis on Shodan's motivations, fleshing out her character beyond what we have seen in the first two games. So anyway, while System Shock 3 does not have a confirmed release date, though it's widely expected to release sometime in early to mid-2020. The game's already been confirmed for PC, with dedicated PlayStation 4 and Xbox One versions also suspected to be in development. So keep it in mind.
Struggles entertain me.
Our little dance has only just begun.
Now comes the reckoning.
Just when you thought it was safe running with scissors, have announced the return of the Postal series in Postal 4. No regrets. And yes, the typo was intentional. Available now via Steam Early Access, the game will set you back for $19.99 featuring open-ended gameplay. Postal 4 also sees John St. John of Duke Nukem fame voicing the dude, and an over-the-top arsenal of weapons and a breadth of interactivity. You can also choose to play the game with the full-on mayhem, as you would expect, or you can play it pacifist. But where's the fun in that? Here. EA Games' classic first-person shooter Medal of Honor is coming back as a virtual reality game for Oculus Rift called Medal of Honor Above and Beyond, and it's due out sometime in 2020. Now, the game is being developed by Respawn, the Electronic Arts owner maker of highly regarded shooters like the Titanfall series and Apex Legends. and it's certainly one of the most advanced and most enjoyable VR shooters I've ever seen. Now, Above and Beyond is set in the Western European theater, where players take on the role of an officer of strategic services operative who's giving specific missions to undermine Nazi Germany's defensive capabilities, so to speak. Anyway, multiplayer is also planned, but no announcement has been made. More of this on the way as we come close to 2020. Stick around.
Create these experiences for people.
We are making a game about the reality of World War II. So for us, the authenticity was everything.
When you put that headset on, you feel like you're back in World War II era Europe.
It's a very surreal experience to be there without being there.
You're not watching history on a flat screen. You're experiencing history with your own eyes.
We have the opportunity to sit down and interview combat veterans from World War II.
It's very emotional and it's very inspiring. And that's what draws us to dive deep for our characters.
And putting you as the player on an adventure that spans some of the biggest moments of the war.
When you see someone play it, when they just kind of lose themselves into the game, it's been pretty impressive.
If the game we're making ignites people's imaginations and illuminates the world, then we've accomplished what we set out to do.
If you want some more videos, anything in particular, leave us a comment, let us know what you think. Click like if you like this video, and if you're not subscribed yet, please do that already. We upload videos almost every day of the week. And the best way to see them is of course a subscription. So click subscribe and don't forget to hit that notification bell. As always, we thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you here next time on FGameKiller.